Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our Plant of the Week podcast, brought to you by Bonide Products, family made in America. Visit Bonide.com to find a retailer near you. Each week, Plant Talk Radio's Fred Hauer focuses on a plant that would be a great addition to your landscape. Now for this week's Bonide Products Plant of the Week. Fred, only one plant of the week?
One plant of the week. We're back to one. It's that kind of an off time of year, and it doesn't have flowers, at least not at this point, but it is a plant of interest.
Okay, get the name here.
Well, let's call it an evergreen. It is actually a bristlecone pine. That particular pine is known in one area on the western coast of California someplace, because they don't announce it. They don't want anybody messing with it, but they know it's over 7,500 years old.
Wow.
Now then, mine is not.
Yes.
Mine has been purchased, well, way back in time, probably now 25 years ago. It was purchased as a plant that was, let's just say, grandly abused. It got in the way of a tractor bucket when things were being moved around, and the back, so to speak, the back half of the plant got broken. Okay, so you don't just necessarily throw a good plant like that away.
Yeah.
Or at least you should or shouldn't, whichever. But I captured it with the idea that I had a vacant wall in the front of my home that an espalier would look good on. And you say, now, hold on. What's that word? It's the only French word I know. Espalier, and then espalier is with the ED on the end. I don't know where that comes from. I have trouble with English. But in any event, it is the form in which it is forced to grow. Bristlecone pine is a much more uniform plant when it's out in the sun and so on and so forth. It loves actually hot, dry air, hot, dry soil. Now, I don't mean bone dry like a desert, but it doesn't appreciate a whole lot of water. So I thought, well, I have a spot under an overhang that I can have some fun with. So I took this poor broken plant home, cut off the backside, and you think, oh, my, hello. Well, I didn't want it to regrow. It gave me half a plant. Now then, that's kind of obvious if you cut the back half off. I put it in the ground out about 14 inches to the center of the pot from the wall itself, because I wanted the plant to be set in a normal planting situation, just slightly above grade, and I wanted it out away from the wall, because when I had the hole dug, 3 times the size of the container now, remember. Okay, I wanted to put that plant in the ground, properly backfilled, etc., but before you backfill, you twist it. You actually lean the plant back against the wall. So that gets it started as a wall clinging plant. Now, it doesn't actually take a hold, but let's just say a wall climbing plant, or in this case, espalier, which is the matter of trimming a plant into a shape. Now, usually, back in George Washington and Jefferson's day and so on, they planted fruit trees on a wire arrangement, much like a grape arbor, and then trained lateral branches to grow out, so they reached down to pick their apples instead of up into the tree. Okay, I have grown that plant against the wall. It is now 8 feet tall. It is 8 feet wide. It's very sparse because, along with keeping it nearly flat against the wall, I keep it thinned out. I don't want it to cover the brick. I want it to be against the brick. So I have let the plant kind of indicate its own shape, that is, as far as spread width is concerned, and then I thin out areas so I can make it do what I want it to do. We'll talk about pruning any plant of of evergreen nature in a moment. But in terms of an espalier, you can, as a matter of fact, if you wanted to use the term, you could call grape arbors the apparatus for espalier and so on. And as I mentioned, back in the colonial days, people actually learned to plant apple trees at the base of a wire, spread limbs out in 3 different wire heights. Some were as low as waist high. Some, as people chose, would be as high as the head. And you can get a tremendous amount of fruit off those. But anyhow, this is for character. It is a plant that is very nonchalant because I've helped it be that, and it grows against this brick, and people have over time stopped and said, what is that? How do you do it? And so on. And then when I tell them it's an espaliered bristlecone pine, they say, do you have something we can write on?
Yeah. Well, I tell you something, when you pull into your driveway and you see that, it is a stunner. It
is a stunner, Mark, and I get a kick out of it. Even to the extent that one of my associates in landscaping many years ago was at my house for other purposes, and as he was leaving, he said, "Hey, how much you want for that plant?" And it had been there a while, and it had been patterned out, etc. I jokingly said, "Oh, I don't know. If you dig it, $1,500 will cover it." He said, "I have a truck here with 2 guys Monday." Whoa! No,
wait a minute.
Not really for sale, because I had put some time and interest in it, and we'll come back to how to handle an espalier later.
Thanks again for listening to our podcast, brought to you by Bonide Products at Bonide.com. Plant Talk Radio offers other podcasts as well, including our daily Your Gardening Question podcast and our weekly Plant Talk Radio, all available on iTunes or your preferred podcast player. If you have a plant suggestion for Fred, send him an email, fred@planttalkradio.com.